Welcome back, everyone. I hope your Thanksgiving was wonderful. Mine was small, but I ate enough for 30 people, so we'll just leave it at that. So, for this quick mini lesson, I want to review what we call MLA format. That's the formal finished draft writing that you'll need to do, not only for me, but once you get into high school. Many of you who were in person used MLA format correctly, some did not. For those of you who remote learners, I want to review for you what MLA format looks like and really why it's important. Why it's important because it's a finished piece, it's a final draft, so you want it to be your best quality. And because this is the format that's used all around the world, it really needs to be uniform. So especially when you get into high school with Mrs. Gregory in 9th and 10th grade, she really demands that you focus on MLA format and make sure that it's done correctly. So on the next slide, I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like, and I'll give you the directions to follow. So here's a sample of what an MLA formatted document looks like. So right here we have what's called the heading. So in your heading you need to have your first and last name, and you'll notice it's double spaced followed by the teacher's name, in this case Mrs. Rich. And then you'll have your grade, and if you're in 7th grade you would write grade 7 ELA. If you're using MLA format for a social studies research project, then you would write grade 7 social studies. The date, please don't write it numerically. What I mean by that is you would write it out, December 2nd, 2020. So do not use the numerical version. And then the name of the assignment. For the piece that we just handed in, it would have been called narrative. So the next thing you're going to see is, again, I've used Times New Roman, that's required. It is 12-point font, and it's also double spaced. MLA format is double spaced so that your reader can have an easier time reading it, as well as have an easy time giving you feedback and make any corrections in your writing. So you'll notice the beginning of every paragraph starts with an indent. So to do that, on your keyboard in the upper left-hand corner, you should find a tab tool. If not, you can add it. So you just keep typing along. Whenever you get to the end of the margin on this side, it'll start a new line, and it will automatically be double spaced as long as you set it up double spaced. The only time you need to create a new paragraph, there are two main reasons. When you change topics or you're introducing dialogue. And dialogue, I've given an example. Even if you're in your dialogue, if someone says one thing, it's a brand new paragraph. So right here, down below, here's what dialogue looks like. Quotation marks. It's indented. You'll see that right here it is indented, same distance as the beginning of my paragraph. And here's we know that's indented. So here's quotation marks, hello, comma, everyone, comma, close quotation marks, Mrs. Rich exclaimed happily, period. And then to respond, I would start a new paragraph, quotation marks, hi, exclamation point, close quotation marks, the class hollered at the same time. And then you would continue writing unless you're in the same paragraph, unless you are changing topics or you're going to have someone else talk. So every document that you turn in this year, whether it be for me or social studies or science, that is a finished draft of anything, please use MLA format. And on the next slide, I'll just review the font size and spacing. So for all final drafts of any type of written work, you're going to write your final draft, and the font will be Times New Roman. You will use 12-point font, and all of your writing will be double spaced. So jot this down, write it in a notebook, keep it somewhere so that you know that anything that you're handing in needs to be in this font size and spacing, and that's part of the MLA format. So if you didn't use MLA format for your first narrative, I would appreciate it if you'd go back, change your font, change your size, double space it, put in the heading, and send it to me again.